What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Crystal Fairy and the Magical Cactus. So this is a movie that I've wanted to see for quite a while. I would always see the cover and it always seemed super interesting to me. It was just Michael Cera rocking some sunglasses with a giant cactus, and I was like, this seems kind of interesting. This seems kind of weird. What the heck is this? This seems like like a drug movie. I'm into drug movies once in a while. Let me check this out. And yeah, I've like known about this movie kind of since it came out. Like I would always see the DVD everywhere, whatever. But I never got around to watching it. And I've had this on my list on Tubi for as long as it's been on Tubi, and for some reason or another I never got around to watching it. And then the other day I saw that this movie's expiring, so I'm like, I can't miss out, I gotta watch it. And you know what, I had a pretty darn good time with this movie. I thought it was super solid. It was like a good little drama, a good little drug movie, and it was just, there was nothing wrong with it. There was like nothing that I disliked about it. It was super solid. So there you go. So the plot summary, it focuses around Michael Cera's character Jamie, and basically he's this American guy, but he's living in Chile. And I hope I'm saying that right, because I think if you say Chile, like that's not how it's pronounced. I think it's Chile, but maybe I sound weird saying it like that. I'm trying to get it right. I hope I'm not butchering it for any Chileans out there, not trying to mess it up. But anyways, you got Michael Cera's character Jamie. He's this American guy living in Chile, and basically he's like super into drugs. Like he's just partying all night, doing a whole mess of different substances, just getting messed up. And he's kind of like unlikable. Like a lot of, like, even his buddies like are kind of turned off by some of his antics. And he's kind of judgmental, and he's high strung, and he's kind of lazy. Like he doesn't have his stuff together. So basically, in the beginning of the movie, he's at this party, he's getting messed up, he's doing all kinds of substances. Even though they do have this trip planned the next day, he's like wants to stay out later, blah blah blah. So he meets this kind of hippie girl named Crystal Fairy, and at first he's kind of like making fun of her. He's just, like I said, he's kind of like judgmental. He's just, his whole character, he's kind of an a-hole throughout the whole movie. So basically he's like being judgmental towards Crystal Fairy, but then he realizes, she speaks English too, and they kind of connect, and he thinks she's interesting. And he's off the substances, so when you're off the substances, you're kind of more warm, and you're like, oh, let's connect, like let's hang out tomorrow, blah blah blah. And then you like wake up and sober up, and you're like, why did I do that? I just met this person, they were a weirdo, what the heck. But anyways, he connects with this hippie girl, Crystal Fairy, at this party, and he gives her his number, and he's like, yeah, we're going to this trip, we're going to this beach, we're gonna take San Pedro, you gotta come with us, it's gonna be an adventure. So the next day, Jamie wakes up, he's going with his buddies to the beach. They're doing this little road trip to take San Pedro, which is, it's mescaline. So yeah, they're going on like a psychedelic voyage. And basically Crystal Fairy remembered his number, and she tags along. And throughout the whole movie there's this kind of tension where Jamie and Crystal Fairy are not getting along. He's kind of treating her terribly because she's a little bit weird and different, and he's just so high, like Jamie's so high strung throughout this whole road trip. he only really cares about doing the drug. He's like not being very nice to his friends. He's not being very nice to Crystal Fairy, and there's all this tension. So yeah, basically the plot is they're trying to go to this beach and take San Pedro, and basically it's kind of like a journey of like Jamie kind of becoming a better person. So that is the basic plot summary. So jumping into some random stuff, early on in the movie, like I said, Michael Cera's character Jamie, he's getting pretty effed up at this party, and immediately he's just like doing a whole mess of cocaine, and I thought that was the funniest thing because a lot of you are probably familiar with the movie This Is the End, and in that movie he plays like this, you know, like fictitious version of himself where he's just a total a-hole, and he's like doing a whole mess of coke, and he's like blowing coke in people's faces, and he's like slapping Rihanna's ass and stuff, and I just could not could not watch this without thinking of that. Like he's immediately doing coke, and I was just thinking of his character from This Is the End. I thought it was the funniest thing. I'm like, is he about to slap Rihanna's ass? Like, what's about to happen? Is he about to, you know, get impaled with a giant pole? Like, what's happening here? So I don't know. I thought that was fun. It's kind of like you can't watch like if you've seen Scary Movie, you can't watch like Scream the same. When you watch Scream, you'll think of all like the funny stuff in Scary Movie. So when Michael Cera was doing coke in this movie, I was just thinking about his character and This Is the End the whole time, and I don't know. I thought it was funny. Another point that I want to address is something that I think this movie did really well is I feel like the depiction of psychedelics was super realistic, because you know in so many movies and TV shows they kind of over exaggerate what it's like to be on psychedelics. Like you're seeing like dragons, and the whole world is different, and you're seeing like different entities. Like maybe if you took a lot of psychedelics, you would see that. But you know, when I was a younger gentleman, I would dibble dabble with the psychedelics, and I would mainly, you know, I would just dabble with the, you know, like a little acid here and there. And basically, you know, when you take acid, it's like you don't really like see things. Like if you're doing stuff, if you're like walking around or riding your bike, it's not like you're seeing entities. Stuff is just, it's just like your perception's different. Like stuff is like a little bit brighter, and you feel like you're effed up, but it's not like you're seeing like dragons or anything. But if you like stop to look at something, like I would just, if I would like, a lot of the times when I would trip, I would like just like lay on my like I would just like lay down and look at the stars, and the stars would look like absolutely beautiful, and stuff would just kind of like move slightly, and it would just look beautiful and like otherworldly. But it wasn't like you're seeing like giant flames in the sky. So, you know, and then another thing about psychedelics too is like they make you very introspective and very sensitive and emotional. And this movie did a great job of portraying that, because Michael Cera's character, he's like, I want to apologize to Crystal Fairy, and he starts like treating everyone better. He kind of lightens up and realizes like, you know what, like I've not been treating people correctly. And from my experiences doing psychedelics, they always made me feel more sensitive, and I'd be like, man, you know, like I need to be a better friend. I need to work on my anger. I need to treat my parents better. I need to stop effing up. You know, I'm blowing it. I need to like, you know, get my life together. I need to be nicer to people. So I don't know. I thought the the representation and or depiction of psychedelics in this movie was like spot on. It wasn't some Hollywood BS. It was like super realistic, and I could definitely relate to it. So very cool, because you don't see that in a lot of movies. Like I said, like it's all like theatrics. It's like they'll do some like crazy special effects where like you're seeing like aliens and stuff. Like, come on, get out of my face. But anyways, yeah, it was very realistic. And then the last point that I want to touch on is, you know, like I said, this movie has been on my radar for a while. You know, I'm a pretty big Michael Cera fan, and I like, you know, drug movies once in a while. So this is a movie that I've been interested in for a while. So I like quite a while ago I was like watching interviews with the director about the movie, and I recall him saying that basically they didn't have like a formal script. Like they just went into this movie with an outline, and most of the dialogue was improvised, or they kind of like came up with stuff the day they were doing stuff. And I'm telling you what, if they really only did go into this movie with an outline, you cannot really tell. This is like a super competent movie. You know, I thought the dialogue was good, the story was good. It's like a pretty loose narrative. It's not like there's like that much narrative. It's a very simple story, but if I didn't know that they only went in with an outline and just like freestyled most of this movie, like I would not be able to tell. Like the movie was super serviceable. It was solid, and the fact that they just pretty much like freestyled it is super impressive, and that's honestly pretty cool. So gotta give them props for that. That's not easy to do. You know, like there's so many instances where, you know, filmmakers go into a movie without a full script, and it's catastrophic. It's terrible. That's usually like a terrible thing. But in this case, I think it worked, and you can't even tell. So yeah, props to the filmmakers for that. But anyways, that was the last thing that I wanted to mention. So I'm gonna give my recommendation, and then I'm gonna peace on out. So I thought this movie was extremely solid. It was, you know, a nice little drama. I liked the characters. I liked the depiction of psychedelics. It was a cool little movie, a chill little movie. So I would absolutely recommend it. Super, you know, super good time, entertaining. So yeah, if you haven't seen this movie, you know, check it out. But yeah, that's the last thing I wanted to say. So I'm gonna head out here. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.